Good afternoon, my friends. Today we're going to talk about chamomile or chamomile, depending on how you say it, and the health benefits for using this beautiful little flower in your daily regimen. It's not, it's wonderful for tea. Don't get me wrong. Chamomile tea is one of my favorites. And I usually have a honey chamomile tea blend that I buy, and I keep it in the house because I find it such a wonderful way to relax in the evening before I go to bed, as I will drink chamomile. But let's get into, I really didn't know some of the health benefits until I started researching this for you. I know that it belongs to the aster family, and so it's two common varieties of chamomile that people use for tea is German chamomile and Roman chamomile. So you can buy it as loose leaf tea or in tea bags. You can get it anywhere. You can buy it in bulk online, and it's dried. And then you steep it in water, and it makes just wonderful, very mellow blend of tea. We are going to get into some of the warnings and cautions for using chamomile, but if you are not allergic to it, if you don't fall into one of those categories that we're going to talk about, I'm telling you the benefits of using chamomile they're pretty great. So one of the things that it can really help with is menstrual symptoms. So chamomile has an anti-inflammatory property, and it has an anti-spasmodic, a sedative, and anti-anxiety properties. So during PMS, if women are drinking chamomile tea, it can help relieve the anxiety. It acts as a little bit of a sedative, and the anti-spasmodic is really important for cramps. Also, people who are diabetic, there's some research studies that found that chamomile tea can lower blood sugar in people with diabetes. It doesn't take the place of any kind of diabetic drugs, like if you're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, but it can improve glycemic and lipid profiles and the oxidative stress levels with people who have diabetes, like mellitus, and it can reduce some of the risks of diabetes complications. There's not a ton of studies out there, but what I'm seeing is that if you're on any kind of medication for your blood sugar, it can actually complement it. Again, remember, before you use anything, always talk to your doctor and make sure that it's not going to conflict with any drugs, and it's only going to benefit what you have going on right now. Also, a huge benefit is osteoporosis. So osteoporosis is kind of the loss of bone density, and women get really hit hard with this. And so you'll see a lot of, I'm always constantly trying to sit straight, because you'll see a lot of women who are really hunched over, men too, but you'll see a lot of women with this. So osteoporosis hits men and women, but I know of a lot of women who have it. And so what a study published, I think it was 2021 or 2022, found that chamomile helped prevent osteoporosis in rats. So, I don't know. Are they doing testing in humans? I don't know. But they have done testing in the rats, and it shows that it is helping with preventative of the bone loss. We did talk a little bit about the anti-inflammatory benefits of chamomile when we talked a little bit about the PMS. But so if you're somebody who has problems with long-term inflammation, and long-term inflammation in your body can lead to gastrointestinal pain and arthritis and autoimmune disorders, obesity, depression, hemorrhoids, just all kinds of stuff, right? Well, chamomile has anti-inflammatory properties, so it may help reduce inflammation in your body, which is only going to help you feel better. Another huge benefit is that chamomile tea may target cancer cells or even prevent those cells from developing in the first place. That's huge. So what they have found in lab tests is that the compounds in chamomile may prevent the growth of glioma, liver cancer, cervical cancer, and leukemias. And I find that absolutely amazing. Every time I do research and these herbs are like attacking cancer cells, that's huge. How come that's not like in the news everywhere? My own theory is that they want us on pharmaceuticals. They being, those who like control the world want people on pharmaceuticals. But if you can grow chamomile in your herb garden and it can keep you from getting cancer, why isn't that like everywhere in the news? And it also helps improve if you have cancer, somebody has cancer-related health complications, right? So there's a 2023 systematic review that was published in Integrative Cancer Therapies found that the chamomile may be helpful to alleviate some cancer-related health complications, like it can reduce mucus, oral mucus. It can, that's a big one even when you're sick, right? So we all get that oral mucus thing. It can help reduce it. It can help with skin complications, and it can help with depression and vomiting in cancer patients. That's huge. So if you can back off the vomiting, then people can eat a little bit. If they can eat, they're going to feel a little better. So, that's a big deal. So, we don't know if, how long that would help, but it certainly doesn't seem like it's going to hurt, right? But like I said, when I started this was sleep and relaxation for me. That's key. I'm a really wound up person, if you can't tell. So, anything that I can do that's natural like this, that can help me kind of wind down. Even when I go to bed, it can take me 2 hours to fall asleep, 3 hours to fall asleep. My brain is just going all the time. So they found, researchers, that I think it was 2019 review, after a few weeks of using chamomile, people with generalized anxiety disorder saw an improvement in their symptoms. There's not a lot of information out there to show, like, if you're in a really anxious situation, that like slamming a cup of tea is going to help. But what it does is, if you're using it pretty constantly in the evenings, right before you go to bed, when it's part of your kind of wind down session, it may help, right? So snuggle up on the couch, get a blanket, grab some tea, and start winding down before you go to bed. And then I already brought up cold symptoms, because it has, it can reduce the mucus. So it's going to help alleviate some cold symptoms. Plus, it may help support, when you're healthy, the immune system, so that maybe you won't get cold as much, or colds as much. And it does actually help, because I always put honey in mine, and the honey helps your sore throat, right? So that's a big deal. Mild skin conditions. It can help with acne, sensitive skin. If you have really sensitive skin and you can't use a lot of products on your skin, it may be able to reduce some of the sensitivity in your skin, and it will actually help with skin rehydration. So if you're dry and your skin is just kind of, scaly, and we all kind of get that way in the winter, chamomile can help that. Let's see. We talked about the cancer, helping with some cancer stuff. Also, a big thing is that because it's an antispasmodic, it can reduce gastric spasming causing diarrhea. So if somebody's having intestinal issues and there's diarrhea going on, chamomile tea can help that. It can also help soothe like GERD symptoms, and it reduces all that inflammation in your stomach. So this is a big one, and it's so easy to grow. I actually have chamomile growing wildly in my pasture, and it's one of the things, interestingly enough, that my goats won't eat. The horses don't eat it, the goats don't eat it, so I can go out there and harvest it and dry it. I also do grow it in my herb garden every year, because it's not, here in my climate, it is an annual in the herb garden. In the pasture, it is a perennial. But there are some warnings with chamomile. So let's get into those because I want you to know them. If you have an allergy to ragwort or daisies or chrysanthemums or marigolds, which are all in this family, this could cause severe anaphylaxis. So you want to really understand if you have those allergies before you use chamomile, because it can, anaphylaxis kill you. So you really want to know that. If you've had a allergic reaction, even a mild one, to any chamomile products, and chamomile, you can find it in some lotions and all kinds of stuff, avoid it at all cost, right? Because like any allergic reaction, it doesn't get better the more you try to desensitize yourself. It actually gets worse, okay? So there are some drug interactions, like chamomile can interact with blood thinning drugs like warfarin. Let's see. And pregnant women, while it can relieve some of the symptoms during pregnancy, like gastrointestinal irritation, they really do believe that you should probably not use chamomile during pregnancy, because there is some information that suggests that it could increase the risk of preterm labor or miscarriage. So be really, really careful. If you're pregnant, never do anything without consulting your doctor. Never take any kind of herb, anything. Because herbs, they're not always safe, right? Infants and very young children, chamomile tea may contain botulism spores, and as adults, if you're healthy, you can fight that off. It's okay, right? It's everywhere. But children, infants, young kids cannot. So they say, please don't avoid chamomile and honey for infants and young children. And then again, if you want to maybe start your child on a chamomile product because you're into herbs and all their benefits, put in a call to your doctor. It's pretty easy. I do it quite often. I call the doctor, I leave a message, hey, can I do this? These are, because they know the medications that I'm on. And it's pretty easy. The nurse will call me back and say, yeah, talk to the doctor, you're fine, go for it. So it's pretty easy to do. Always as a warning, please talk to your doctor before you start any kind of herbal stuff. And, but if you can use these products and you can use them safely and there's not going to be any interaction for you, then there is no reason in the world why you shouldn't start some of these herbal remedies, because I think you'll feel better. And, if you feel better, then you're happier. And, then that guy that's tailgating you going down the highway, it's not such a big deal. So I don't know. It's worth a shot. Let me know if you use chamomile and what it does for you. And on a side note, I told you guys I would follow back up with you when I started the bergamot and a couple of other things to lower my cholesterol and to help with blood pressure. I have lowered my blood pressure. Now, it's probably not all due to this, but I've also lost some weight, which helps. And I have the metabolism of a sloth, just so you know. I've lowered my blood pressure 40 points, both systolic and diastolic. So I think all of the herbal remedies that I'm doing, and I have quite a cocktail of stuff that I do. I got the celery powder, or not celery, cabbage powder. I talked to you about cabbage a couple of weeks ago and the benefits of cabbage. I have problems with my stomach, so cabbage itself is sometimes hard for me to digest, but I got cabbage powder and I'm putting it into my smoothies. And I love cabbage anyway, the taste of it. So I don't really taste it in my smoothies. If I do, have my banana and blueberries or whatever I'm putting in my smoothies, I put a tablespoon in there, and I'm not. So I don't know. Whatever I'm doing it right. I'm lowering everything, blood pressure, everything's coming down, cholesterol's coming down. So I want feedback. I want you to know, are you using some of these remedies? Are they helping you, and how? How are they helping you? I know this was a longer topic than usual. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.